Mira ahí donde están viendo lo que tú estás viendo, ¿verdad?
Yeah. All right, let's throw up that disclaimer. We have to put it up there. Yes, and here we are. Shoot the shit once again. Um, Joey Zaza in the place to be. We have Sandy. We have John Matos.
It's a Thursday already. It's make fun of John Day.
And we have my brother Will and Gordo in the place with my other brother Willie Will. The two wheels in one spot, yo. Buy a lotto
Will
ticket.
Square.
What are the odds?
What up?
With the wheels.
The
Right here, the
wheel. Today we're talking about hair, guys. Styles from flat tops to mullets to all types of different styles and stuff like that. We have a little bit of echo and feedback. One of you guys might have to mute your mic real quick. But yeah, that's what we're talking about today. Styles, whether you like it, you don't like it, the process that you have to go through in order to get it done. Obviously, I don't know much about doing hair. I don't have much to do. But my brother Golo here does. Golo, let's start it off like this. Let's get into a few things before we get into the pictures. Like we were speaking about before. Tell people what the difference between a barber and a stylist is.
Well, in these days, there's not much of a difference. Now, the barber from the 1940s and the 1950s, there is a difference. They only strictly used scissors and comb. That was it. There was no machines. There was no technology. There was no combing hair. There was no blowers. There was nothing like that in a barbershop. Once they started coming out with those haircuts like the Beatles and the disco era and the males started going into the hair salons because the barber was outdated in that aspect. And around the 1980s, that's when I would say the barbers started adapting to what was going on. And they started using more clippers and different techniques with the scissors. They started using a brush and a blower. Um, they maintained their uniqueness with their razor blade, the straight blade. That is something that you will always recognize a barber for, is straight blade. That is something that we do, that female um practitioners, like stylists, and they don't use razor blades. They will use trimmers, they use machines, but they don't use straight blades. We do.
Any particular reason why? It's just the
I mean,
styles.
the real reason why we use straight blades is because it's the best way to shave a face. Females do not have facial hair, so therefore, um, there's no need for.
We wax our stuff. That's
They wax
the hair
it,
removal on our face.
they yank it, they take it
Is,
out with
is waxing a
tweezers.
new thing? How far back does waxing go?
No, waxing has been always. The thing is that it was more of a home thing.
If I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong. I believe the sugar waxing is what they would do first, then they actually got into the waxing, and sugar waxing is just making kind of like a caramel type substance
Caramel.
with the sugar.
You
Yeah.
make some type of caramel paste and you rub it on, and when it dries off, you just yank it out. The problem is that not a lot of back in the day, there would be some females that didn't have the patience, so they would just put it on hot.
Oh no.
Yeah.
And they
And
would
serious burns.
and that's not, and if you notice, there will be a lot of females that would have their mild bigote, their mustache area a little bit darker.
Mhm.
Era la cicatrización.
How many techniques that women do on the regular are wrong.
Are wrong?
Wrong. Like it's gonna mess up your skin. It's gonna
It's gonna look
Well,
nice, but fuck up the hair in a day or two, like stuff like
okay.
that.
It all started with the vanity. Because if we're gonna take it, even men in Egyptian times, they use makeup.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, men were real heavy with the makeup before females were. The thing is that during the passing of time, it started catering more to them.
Okay.
Why? Because we left that era. For some reason, after that era, we went back. I don't know if that civilization was so high up that what evolved from that was just another type of Neanderthal.
Okay. So finding things around you to work on your hair is nothing new,
No, it's
especially home products. You know what I mean?
well,
Whatever you can find around you.
they have found shells, bones from caveman times, and they were used for shaving and cutting.
All right,
Hair.
because I want to jump into that list that we spoke about earlier before we started the broadcast. A list of things that people had used on their hair. Okay, gel, spray, wax or hair wax. Apparently, two different things. You'll let me know. Ointment, styling cream, egg whites, gelatin, and Elmer's glue.
Elmo's glue. I like that one.
And
You do not look surprised at any of this.
And there's one that you're missing. That it's mud.
Mm-hmm.
Well, mud because of the Tainos and all of that in the Caribbean. Well, they use
No,
mud for everything, so
actually,
that one wouldn't surprise me at all.
Actually, they use it to make a certain type of dread.
Yeah,
Really?
I've seen. There's this one tribe in Africa that still does it. They have like a reddish mud that they put it on. Yeah.
That would be
And
the
it dyes
Maasai.
their hair red.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so
And
I
there's
guess
a lot of other things that people put in their hair. Mayonnaise.
worse than glue.
They put mayonnaise. They put avocado. They put papaya,
Aloe.
coconut
oil.
aloe. There's a lot of things.
What
people
about
put. Peppermint?
what about that one girl that went viral a few months back for putting gorilla glue in her shit?
Well, that's what I
Remember
was getting at. What are the bad ones? What shouldn't people be putting in their hair?
Gorilla glue.
I would say
Obviously.
I would say anything that is man-made that isn't for that.
Glue being
Okay.
one of them.
So can I interject with my question now?
I was going to explain about the hair wax and wax.
Okay, go ahead, do that.
Hair wax, it's intended for hair. Usually comes in a little balm, and you rub it on and put it on. Now, the other wax is candle. Give you an example like that. Have you ever seen somebody rubbing a candle on some dreadlocks? I have. And they're waxing it so they could tighten it up.
Really?
They take the shavings and you just grind it in. Those are things that you should not be putting, not only because
you're going to end up with a core of wax inside your lock.
So that's why when they cut their hair, they usually get semiosis, and or they'll be bald.
Damn.
Have you ever seen somebody that cut their locks off and they just have them chapas?
Yep.
And they usually their hair don't grow back the same, and possibly they use that wrong wax.
Interesting.
Your question, sis.
Okay, So the question was, like things that you use for your hair and things that you're not supposed to use for your hair. But there are a lot of products that are supposed to be for your hair, that should not be used, or at least is found out that shouldn't be used for example, keratin. What is your take on keratin? Because I heard something about keratin as far as having formaldehyde,
Okay.
and that's like insane,
The thing about it is that keratin is in our hair already.
right?
So they're manipulating the hair. Now, there is nothing wrong with doing something periodically.
Okay.
And a responsible stylist, you being my client, I will not give you that treatment no more than twice a year. And your hair has to be very, very thick.
Gotcha. So the
So
other
that
thing I
means,
heard, go ahead.
so that means that it's not bad if you do it once a year because you want to straighten out or you want to strengthen out your hair. But when you start overdoing it, just because you like how it looks at the beginning, because it is going to frizz up. If you have thick hair, your hair is thick. No matter what you do to it, unless you shave it, and even if you shave it, it's going to grow back thick. You can't have nappy hair and grow straight hair.
Right.
No matter how much you process it, no matter how much chemicals you put on it, no matter how pretty it looks once it's done, you give it a month, your naps are going to show. So there are people that what they do is, let's say they'll call me, I give them that treatment, and I tell them I'm not going to do it more than once a year. So they'll go to another person
Gotcha.
around 4 months, and that person will do it. And then in another 4 months, they'll get it done again.
Mm-hmm.
So she has 3 stylists doing the same process, and I don't know where she came from.
Yeah.
I'm just, and if I ask her what you think she's gonna tell me, she knows.
Yeah.
She knows if she tells me, no, I got it done a couple of months ago, I ain't doing it.
Being a responsible stylist.
An ethical stylist.
So
yeah.
that goes into what actually John had spoken earlier, that there's like a code.
But at the same time, you're trying not to, because this is the whole thing about this. If yo, por ser irresponsable, I give her the treatment 3-4 times in a year, and something happens to her, it falls on me.
Mm-hmm.
Right, because isn't that supposed to be dangerous to have that chemical in your hair?
I was supposed to know everything. I was supposed to know the pros and cons, or enough to explain to you.
Are there ways you can like look at the person's hair and tell what they've had done, what they haven't had?
Not if you don't know them.
Okay.
I could tell you if a person got their hair dyed. I could tell you if a person has had un procedimiento, pero qué tiempo hace? No. Because no todo el mundo se lava el pelo igual, no todo el mundo tiene el pelo igual, no todo el mundo se trata igual el cabello. Hay personas que se lava el cabello una vez en semana, hay unas que se lo lavan cada 3 días, hay gente todos los días. Hay gente que se ponen champú, condicionador y acondicionador leave-on. Hay personas que champú and that's it. There's people that wash their hair with soap.
Yeah.
Since hair is so different in everybody, I want to touch real quick the subject of hair grows in different directions. and some cuts, some styles need to be cut in a specific direction. If the hair doesn't grow to where it's easy or even processable for you to make it into that cut, what's the next process? Do you go through with it? How is it that you make up for those opposing factors of it?
Well, me personally, at first, what I do is I'll ask the client what they want. If they have a picture, if they ever had that haircut done before. Once I get all that information from them, I let them know if I understand that their facial structure helps, because it's not only the hair, it's the facial structure as well. You got to take a lot of things in consideration. If you have a person that has thinning hair and they tell you, I want a Johnny Bravo, I could do it, but it's not going to look like it. You're going to see right through
It'll
it.
look like the villain from Hercules with the hair blowing up.
But I'll get it done. It won't look what he wants, but I'll get it done.
Technically, is what he's asking for. Yeah.
Because all haircuts have their technique,
Mm-hmm.
have their ways of doing it. So as long as you provide me what I need, that it was hair, I just do the process. And by doing the process, you get the work.
All right. Well, you mind if I put up some pictures? I'm gonna fade out and I'm gonna put up a couple of pictures. Let me know if you guys can see it, and run us más o menos through the process to get that done.
Okay.
You want me to zoom in?
No, I'm good. By looking at her hair, you see that curl that she has coming down this way? It's a rolo.
Okay.
It's a rolo. And basically what they did in that type of hair is, let's say if she has really straight hair, they comb it towards the scalp to make it volumize and puff out, and then they'll just lo acomodan.
Puff out. So that falls under what we had also spoken before. A stylist called Julian Farrell said the head is space, and as stylists, we must bring volume to that space.
Yeah. If you notice, look at her face, and you see the volume of her hair.
Yeah.
That is what gives the cut. That is what gives the style. But if you notice, she tries to have everything around curly except for her part. And in that part is that you know that her hair is straight.
Okay. Let's move on to the next one.
Okay, that right there is a manipulation with hairspray.
Mm-hmm.
That's all hairspray.
This right here, that's all hairspray.
But that's not like something that you could do in your crib, right? Unless you're like extremely talented, because there's like a lot of in and out ways. How did you actually? Do you have to go like slow and then wait till it dries and then keep?
Well, right now, the way I would have done it, I would have blow dried her hair first off, make sure that I got it in a manageable state, and I would press it, pinch it with my 2 fingers, and spray it.
So there, I can tell you that because of the time, these women, what they would do is that they would pin. Those were where the pins would come in. So they would wave, pin, set it
and just spray
to
it
hold, and then just spray to keep it in place.
That's a style that can still work today, but I don't know. I like those older styles.
That's a lot of blower.
Mm-hmm.
Blow it. that volume that you see, that
Como
was
tenaza.
big curls. They would put big rollers on them, so that hair would just puff up once they took it out, and then it's just acomodarlo.
Hmm.
That back
And
curl is
curling iron.
beautiful.
That was the curling
And
iron
the cut,
era.
and the cut as well, because they have to cut it so it could look inwards.
Aren't curling irons bad for the hair?
Everything in excess is bad. The thing about it is that they have learned that heat, you can manipulate hair. With chemicals, you can manipulate hair. And with water, you can manipulate hair.
Okay.
The thing about it is, it all depends how much it lasts. If you manipulate your hair, let's say me, I have very curly, nappy hair. If I come out of the shower, my hair will be reduced. And if I want to go out to the street, my hair will remain reduced until it dries out.
Okay.
If I would take my hair and I would blow it out or pass a blower, that heat manipulation lasts until either humidity hits or at least 48 hours.
Because that'll be the time for the hair to get back to its natural temperature.
No, it's just the grease and the growing and everything else. It's sucio. Everything will just bring your hair back to your natural state. That's why females se pasan el blower. Vamos a decir, un sábado ellas se vienen, se pasan el blower. Domingo, lunes, martes y miércoles, eso es con plancha. Because they just touching up what kind of curled up. That's why they do doobies.
Right.
Okay. Okay.
El doobie.
Okay. See what else we have here. Boom.
Oh, wow.
There goes the pins that Sandy was talking about.
Yeah.
Basically, it's a lot of manipulation with pins and spray.
That'll
What
be
I could tell you about all of these type of styles, the person that created it, they wanted to do something.
what do you mean?
If you look at the female on that looks really 1920s, tell me that hairstyle doesn't look like she has a hat on.
Okay. Right.
They would do things like that.
To go with the military kind of uniform that
Because that was what was going on in those days.
all right, yeah, that is around the Second World War. Classic Eartha Kitt.
Well, Eartha Kitt has really good hair.
Mm-hmm.
And
So
if you
that's like it has some type of a pin in it, doesn't it?
sí, eso es un moño.
Let's go to the next one.
You got a bunch of different type of pins. You got pins that look like cepillilla. They just go into the hair and they just leave your hair up. I mean, there is a lot of things for hair.
I'm gonna zoom in because there's quite a few here.
Okay.
Let's start with these four.
That braid, that looks crazy.
Yeah, for real. That goes around her whole head.
Apparently.
I guess it will go just to the back. Yeah. Like
Okay.
if you put it by the other,
Como un Nike headband.
basically.
And if I'm not mistaken, let me see. Yep. Look at Princess Leia in the bottom left corner.
Those are braids.
Yeah, but you see that and you immediately think of Princess Leia. That's obvious.
I do. Yeah.
All right. That spray, that would be spray.
That's Elm's glue.
This is an old ass picture, bro.
But that is the effect of what you would see if they put glue in their hair.
Oh,
Okay.
And you think that's an old picture?
The what?
Do you think that's an old picture?
What do you mean?
Because
Yeah,
to
I
me,
recognize the artist. She was a dancer.
okay,
She was a dancer
Josephine
from
Baker.
yes,
because
Josephine Baker. She was a dancer.
those baby hairs, that shit, that's what they do now, and it's exactly
Yeah.
the what I'm telling you with the Elms glue.
Yeah, my girls, but they use what they call locking gel now. So the girls use that, and they're always finishing up what they call their edges, but it's just those baby hairs, and they're
So
constantly.
the glue isn't bad for the scalp.
Yes,
Okay, it is regardless.
I
yes,
mean, so is hair dye. Hair dye is
yes.
damaging to your hair, but people do
Bleach
it
is
anyway.
damaging to your hair, and that's one of the most used products out there.
The bleach.
I
The
remember the
bleach and the
days when you used to put
peroxide.
peroxide to get the blonde streaks.
Yeah.
We can go back to this in a second. There's a lot more pictures. What's up with the bleaching of the hair and the coloring of the hair? Because I know there's gonna be a lot of
What's up with it?
ladies that watch this later on, and they're gonna be like, "Wait a minute, what?
What's up with it?
Is it good? Is it not good? Should they stop?"
Well, obviously, it's not good.
How do you consider what you said? Anything in excess is too much.
Yes.
So where do you find the moderation within the hair coloring thing?
Okay. I think that um if you're going to go with colors, you should commit to a color for at least 6 months.
So
Now,
you won't continue with the
when
process.
I say a color, I'm
Yeah.
not talking about from brown to black. I'm talking about from a dark brown to a bright red, from a dark brown to a green to a purple. If you're going to dye one of those colors that is extremely out of the boundaries where you already started, then you shouldn't. You should think about taking consideration to stick with it for at least 6 months to a year.
That makes sense.
Do they?
These females that they bleach their hair and 3 weeks later they changed it, and 2 weeks later they changed it, and 3 and 4 weeks later they changed it, they are destroying their hair. And no matter how much they put conditioner and they try to process it, the only process you could do to it is shaving it all off.
Wow.
That was going to be my next question. What if they just decide to shave it off and start over? Is that better?
The good thing about hair and the reason why people take risks is because it grows back.
If hopefully, in the state that you're healthy and all of that stuff, and your hair grows back.
But
Because
it's let's say it's a 90%. If you have no condition, no nothing, your hair will grow back the same.
Yeah.
Now,
All right.
okay,
oh,
side question. When I
yes,
was 4,
when you was
I
4.
saw my mom shaving my grandmother's eyebrows. So I wanted to do the same. And I fixed my eyebrows, and I shaved off half my eyebrow. And if my family members are seeing this, the ones that remember, I thought I was a big girl because for all of kindergarten, I had to put on makeup on, and they would pencil in my other half of the eyebrow. But I still have a gap. Although it's been years, I still have a small little gap that I have to play with when I'm tweezing my eyebrows. Why is that? Why is it that shaving your eyebrows causes so much? It was just that one time with the razor. How I didn't
Well,
cut myself, I don't know, but
I really can't tell you because if you notice, I right here, I have mine sliced up,
right.
and give it about 3 months, they'll be back to normal. That it takes a lot longer, yes. This
Okay.
one, I had a slit that went from here to here. Can't notice it. So I really think it was more that they were penciling in.
Yeah.
Possibly that.
Gotcha.
What if also because you were so young when it happened? What if like
You probably cut yourself.
you probably yeah
Y lo que tienes ahí es una cicatriz.
una cicatriz like
Maybe.
a minor one, or maybe like you just weren't developed enough. Your hair wasn't developed enough. You didn't have full eyebrows like you would consider it now as an adult, and you like interfered with the process maybe, and it ended up with that little gap. It could be that too.
Maybe. ¿Y ese galán quién es? I can't hear you.
Can't hear who.
I said, speaking of eyebrows, we got that guy there looking behind like, who touched me back there? When did guys start plucking and shaving their eyebrows?
Well, in general,
Look at Sandy's face.
no, I'm asking in general, or when did they start?
When did it
Because
become a thing?
again, the Egyptians are very, very aesthetic people, and they would shave their whole shit off and have their shit drawn.
Okay, all right.
So that's why I'm saying cultural, like generally what's going on at a norm, it's as it is less than what you really think. It's more of a Latin American, Central American thing. There
Really?
are a lot of places that are not messing around with their eyebrows as you might think. When did that shit started coming out? When metrosexuality started becoming a thing.
I remember.
Sandy, we can't hear you. What happened, Sandy?
I agree. The whole metrosexual phase
When
did kind of
men
like,
started coming into fashion hard, that they tried to make men feminine, which actually they did, because look at the kids now, and they don't look like men.
I remember
so
Sandy once told me a story how Sandy, you used to have a class where it made you think it was like an arms race between the boys and the girls who's shaping up and making the eyebrows look better and shit. Yeah.
the boys definitely had thinner eyebrows than the girls, and that was something
And
that me
it's not
personally,
even
I am
better.
an eyebrow fetish person. Eyebrows are the world to me because I feel that eyebrows dictate a lot more than just a look. It also expresses the person's personality. You can read a lot about a person by the way their eyebrows are and the way that they shape them. So having all these, yeah, Boy George, good point. If the John had mentioned Boy George and with the straight geisha looking eyebrows and stuff like that. But that was a fashion statement in his persona, as Boy George, not his actual individual person, besides being on the stage. But that did kind of, set in a trend. Me personally, as a woman, I just really find it unappealing for a man to have eyebrows so thin when that to me is a really strong masculine statement. If I'm looking at a man's um, physique as far as how they carry their hair, how they shape up their beard, all of that, you guys get to play a lot with your face because you have facial hair. And so depending on the seasons, if you're in a place where you have the Four Seasons. You can shape it up a certain way, but it also tells a lot about your personality, not just your beard, but also your eyebrows. Or do you keep them clean? You know, I can see if you have like Groucho Marx eyebrows and you want to, you know, put them under control, what you consider control. Some people just let it just hang all out bushy. I mean, there are a lot of men that are considered, you know, hot sexual icons, and old school men would have thick mustaches and burly eyebrows and they look fine. You know, it doesn't look wrong. So the trend now, I'm curious to find out maybe a younger lady's point of view, like a young lady's point of view, maybe a couple of generations, you know, younger than me, to tell me,
But
does it, you know,
what
really matter to them? Because
I could tell
I think
you,
it has an effect on the girls and their opinion on what it is that they like now. It's probably why a lot of girls like girls now, because they see so much of the femininity everywhere.
I've noticed that nowadays they're not thinning out the eyebrow as much as before, though.
Yeah, I noticed that too.
Now a lot of guys are not
Well,
getting
thank
them
goodness.
thinned out. They're getting it cleaned. They just clean them out. Well, me personally, I don't do thin eyebrows to none of my clients. I'll shave their unibrow, I'll trim it, I'll shape it up. That I will do. I will give it a shape.
Because no matter what they look like, there should be two of them.
Exactly. It should never be one.
Well, here I have another question about this picture. Is this roundabout the? I forgive me. I don't mean it to like diss the skill, because I don't mean it. But for lack of better words, would this picture and the way they did his hair, would this be the end of the barber era, like the old school scissor?
If you look at his hairline, you could tell that everything there is natural. You see how here it dips?
Yeah.
That's his hair. That's how his hair grows. Now, look for a haircut from the 2000s, and you will notice that everybody has a 7. That's what we call it, a 7.
Yeah.
And these markings here is either real curved or in a diagonal line. But everything is in a straight line. Why? Because in that time, the straight blazer was from here down. You would never, or in the back of the neck. That's it.
Interesting. Interesting.
So the shape up, the lineup, which, you know, I would never leave the house without a lineup, so I feel you there. But that's kind of like a fairly modern invention, for real, right?
Well, technically, in hairstyling, I would say that's thanks to the military and to hip hop.
Okay.
Thanks to the military and to hip hop is that we have the type of shapings in our hair that we do have. Oh yeah, hip hop has influenced
Yeah, look, it is curved,
Oh, yeah,
like
no
you
doubt.
said. It's a lot more curved.
Well, it's a lot more curved because that's his hair. Esas son las entradas de él.
Boom. Hey.
Again.
Boom.
Oh, that's pretty.
I'm gonna zoom in on this.
That's tight.
This looks like it has a little bit of everything that you said. A little bit of rolos, a little bit of.
Oh yeah, don't get mistaken. Ella cogía le dejaban los jolos en el pelo.
I'm curious
That's not something you can do in 10, 15 minutes. That's half an hour.
Nah.
No. Okay. Let me explain something. Back in that time, females didn't go out like they go to Walmart today. You know what I'm saying? Esos peinados era un peinado de sábado, un peinado de domingo. They wasn't cleaning their house with that shit on.
No, they had the
And
rag.
possibly the ones that were possibly looking like that was Hollywood.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Y estaba todo el día en el beauty.
Yeah.
How many different techniques do you think was used in that one style?
Well,
1,
techniques
2,
itself,
3.
I mean, her hair looks pretty much manageable. I would say
What would
blower,
be manageable hair? What do you mean manageable?
Sandy's hair, for an example. If you damp it up a bit, it could
It's
work
easier to, okay.
because tú le ves el pelo de ella original es rizo. Lo que pasa es que el core de ella se lo estiraron bien. Entonces son jalones de pelo.
Okay, so how can you tell that her original hair is curly and then they straighten the rest instead of her hair is straight and they just curled out the bottom? How can you tell?
Because of the way the curls set.
That's a
What do you mean by
curl.
set? By somebody who obviously
Look
doesn't
at
have much hair.
Look at all of the curls. Some look alike, some don't.
Mm-hmm.
But they all curly.
Okay.
If that would have been manipulated, everything would look exactly the same. Just one going one way and the other one going another.
Okay.
That's it. That would be the only difference.
Huh. As somebody that has curly hair, it's funny I never noticed that. So basically, if she would have had straight hair and they manipulated it, it would look more uniform. But since it's naturally curly, it's more a lo whatever, and it could be a little like this, a little like that, a little whatever.
Curls
That's
are
why
unruly.
what they did is they straightened it out and they tied it. If you notice on top of the moño, there's a bow.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
They tied it just to make sure that the part that needs to stay straight stays straight. So they took this side of her hair, they took it out this way, and they took a corona and everything behind it, and they pulled it down.
Yep.
And then they took this part and they manipulated that part. They straightened it out, possibly with a blower. Then they curled it. That possibly has some type of a rolling, and they just pin it.
Mm-hmm.
And since it's an old picture, what are the probabilities of all of that being her hair?
That is all her hair.
Oof.
That is all her hair.
How many hours you think that took?
Oof.
Depending the skill of the person and depending how many people were working on it. Because you could have two people working on her at the same time.
That's true.
Really?
You could have somebody doing that back moño and somebody working those two rolos.
Okay.
So
Let's move
I
on
would,
tonight.
for myself, I would say about 4 to 5 hours.
Oof. That's a lot of pin work, right?
Nah, that's common. Eso es todo rolo.
Eso es rolo.
Eso es todo rolo. Yeah.
Yep.
Look at the top. Look at
Hold
the
on,
side.
let me try to zoom in a bit.
Those are all rolos. She took rolos. A rolo, un paño y vámonos a dormir.
Those are rollers. Yep. Those are definitely rollers.
Okay. I like how that looks like everything else. O sea, just because you have nappy hair doesn't mean you don't have pinup styles. I'm a pinup style freak. I love pinup. You know what I'm saying? So to see that is like, you know what I mean? It's more than just braids and shit, you know?
You see that what this right here?
Hold on, let me zoom in a bit.
¿Tú ves cómo se lo pega tanto?
Mm-hmm.
Eso ella, a la parte de atrás obviamente, ella tiene pins, pero ahí es donde usaban el wax.
Okay.
Y utilizaban cosas que no se estaban supuestos a utilizar. Por eso es que las morenas saben o utilizan muchas cosas.
Wait, wax where it would be the entradas for us?
On the sides,
Yeah.
See that she has her sides real tight?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
To maintain her hair, she probably could have rubbed in some type of wax.
It's a real classy intellectual look.
No, por hecho, yeah. Y
But
eso la parte de abajo, eso también es rolo.
edges, you see, I told you, like the girls say the edges is laid. What Bianca was saying about the edges is laid is basically that she used either, it could be wax, it could be grease, it all depends, or like a lard. Um, and that was something that can help soften down. John had mentioned something about the textures of the hair, and I think the texture of the hair just changes depending on the race and what it is, because you can find the mixture of, nowadays we have so many different races that are mixing, right? You have what they call mixed kids, and stuff like that, so the textures are brand new, and it was grease in those times, right? Very good. And so but depending on your texture of your hair is the style that you're able to do. I mean, I've seen women that have, their, what you would call kinky or whatever. And I don't like calling it bad hair, because it's not bad hair. It's just a completely different texture. And you can
See,
rock different styles that
that's
still
what
look
that's why I use the word thick.
beautiful, still look intellectual, because even though you have a different texture hair, you just got to know how to work with it. You know what I mean? There are women who have locks, and the way that they set their locks to be curly, or they tie them up to be in a bun that is just absolutely gorgeous, that you won't be able to replicate that any other way except for you having locks. The same way you can tighten up those curls and make them really, really tight, really, really short. And it's beautiful. What I don't like, me as a woman, what I don't like is there are times that I'll straighten out my hair, and I do it more here in Ohio than I do in Puerto Rico. And it's because, one, Puerto Rico, with the heat and the moisture, my hair is just going to go. If I try to flat iron my hair in Puerto Rico, it's not going to stay, because my hair is naturally curly. But here in the wintertime, in order for me to be able to calm down my curls, I usually have to put some type of moisture in it, right? I can't do that when I have to go outside in the winter and it's 25 degrees. I'll have icicles in my hair, by the time I take off the snow on my car. So I can't wet down my hair. And that's when I'll rely on flat ironing my hair, straightening it, in order to avoid or just plain wrapping my head, which is what I've been doing at work anyway because of COVID. But it's I think it has to do with just more the culture, yes, the style, yes, but I think that there's a gross need of misrepresentation, because you want to look like somebody that you're not, or you want to replicate a hairstyle that is more detrimental, to your head. And it's like, I'm okay with style. I mean, dye your hair whatever color you want, fine. You know what I mean? It's just dye, shave your head if you need to, and start over again, fine. But if you really are careful with, and you care about your hair and you care about your skin, because skin and hair and Gordo can confirm or deny, for me is mixed. You have to make sure that your scalp is healthy in order to have healthy hair.
Yes.
Otherwise, you're not doing anything.
Right.
So um what I wanted to I'm sorry if I'm giving an echo, guys. What I wanted to express was that the styles that you choose is not only if it looks good on you, but it should also be something attainable to your hair texture. If you can't have it, and it was like in the 80s when the women went crazy with those perms, and then you had some women that the perms look, wow, those curls are like insane. You had straight hair, now you have curly hair. And then all of a sudden you see the perm, and it was like this frizz monster that come out of, what is that? It was scary. That's when the big hair was coming in. And the 80s was really, really damaging to the hair. They kind of went ape shit with the craziness of the hairstyles in the 80s. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Golo,
that
we got a
chemical
comment
process.
here. What do you got to say about this? They relaxed my hair at 2.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. That's doing too
I
much.
didn't see that.
They
That's
they
horrible.
destroy
At
Gotta
they
pump it
two?
up
destroyed her
again.
hair or his hair. It was a girl boy.
Girl, that's
Bianca,
Bianca.
when she was 2, they relaxed her hair. Nah.
That was ignorance, because at that time I guarantee you there wasn't no proof of the dangers of relaxing hair.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say that happened because of ignorance.
Yo, speaking of that, that just reminds me, and this could just be its own entire podcast episode, but like
Creamy
how there's a
crack.
huge, how there's a big, just like a Eurocentric like standard of beauty that was considered beautiful or professional or acceptable is also synonymous with what's natural for people of like European descent. So only recently in the past few decades it became okay for like lawyers to have dreadlocks and shit like that. But you know, back in the day that was like completely like impossible. You will never see that
Call
ever
them
ever.
locks. They're nothing to be afraid of. Call them
No,
locks.
locks, no doubt, no doubt. But yeah, so just to give that as an example, and it also makes me think of if you've ever seen the Malcolm X movie with Denzel or read the book. Back in the day when black guys used to get the conch that they put like straight up lye in their hair, and se lo ponen, and it's like a time limit. I don't know the specifics, but it's like a time limit. It starts burning and shit, and they gotta wear gloves and wash it off and stuff. But it leaves their hair like really straight. But Malcolm X, like, you know, when he got his awakening, he like threw that completely in the trash. He's like, no, they're doing that to make us forget about our own beauty and blah blah blah. But yeah,
That and yeah, fucking hurt. It looked like it hurt.
mm-hmm. Like
Everything,
smoke comes out this shit.
everything that was done in that time was for that.
Yeah, because
Wow.
I mean, it was especially bad back then, but the whole Eurocentric standard of beauty that I was talking about. But yeah,
All right, let's get to this.
Lucy.
Yeah, that's Sandy's favorite right there.
So that's a
I
whole.
love Lucille Ball.
That's Rola, and
She
she's
was
a ginger.
gorgeous.
That's
Beautiful.
pure Rolos,
Yeah,
Yep.
and they use the curl she already had.
yeah, and pins.
See what else we got? Boom.
Gorgeous.
Now, hold on. I have to. I know it's different times and it's a different style, but I wanted to focus on those bangs or whatever the hell you call it. Anybody who is watching this, that's at least, let me say, between 29 to 24 years old, somewhere in there, right? Your mother has a picture hidden, and it's hidden because she doesn't want you to find it. Okay, she has a picture hidden to where that wave is at least, I don't know, 5-6 inches off of her fucking. I'm talking Tony Hawk half pipe type shit.
Yo, thanks to that, the ozone layer had a hole.
Word. Okay.
Deadass.
Yup. Aquanet. Aquanet was what caused the hole in the ozone. Aquanet. Yep.
What was up with? Becca's like, he has everywhere. I mean, okay, granted, I was in PR, so I was around a bunch of Ricans. Maybe it was just the Rican thing, but yo, I mean, a sideways shark fin just on the top of their head.
What for guys or for
Can y'all
girls?
appreciate that
For
right there?
girls.
You see?
You know, it was this huge
Yo,
wave that just.
if they were to bring that style back, no female would ever have reception. They always have reception.
Wow.
Yeah, you never got to see something like that. I tried looking for a picture, I couldn't find one, but trust
I
me.
don't know if my sister has one, but there is a picture of me. I think I was in 8th grade with the blue eyeliner and the wave.
Yo, I think the Illuminati fucking burned all them shits.
Here you got three from round about the same era.
No, Lady Gaga's not from the same era.
Yeah.
Well, the
The one in the
hairstyles
middle.
inspired from.
Okay.
You could tell the difference quickly.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Okay. Now we'll look at Lucille's hair.
Right?
So
It looks very natural.
Mm-hmm.
And when I say natural, look at the volume. Look at the shine that it has. Now look at Lady Gaga's and look at it looks like she has a hat on, both of them. It is so perfect that it looks like it's a hat.
Right.
And that is something that this time hairstyles, that's what
Hi,
they
Joey.
do.
Hello.
That's what they do. They make everything picture perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And what about the one all the way on the left?
Both of them. If you look at both of them look perfect. But in the perfection, it's the unnaturalness.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
If you look at Lucy's hair, it looks natural, it looks perfect. That's what I was
but at
talking
the
to you
same
about.
time, you can tell that it's not. You can tell that's not her natural curls. You can tell that she did go through a process of the rollers or the rag
She didn't wake up like
ties
that.
or whatever it is.
What I'm trying to get to with this is in the consult of the beautician with the client, when this client came to ask for those type of peinado
Styles.
or those type of styles, that person needed to speak to them about it. And I think this would look better, or I think we should work with this. Because out of the three, the most natural looking one is Lucy. If I told you that's a wig and the other one is a wig, you will look at it and you'll be like, really? I don't. But if you say no, the one that Lucy's wearing is a wig, you doubt it 100%.
That's true.
That's what I'm trying to say.
So Joey, as someone who shaves their head every now and then,
Yes.
because that question came in, right? I think it was John that asked, "What about girls who bald their heads, who shave their heads, and what's your take on it?" I think that hairstyle that Joey's showing right now is more of a it was more of a fashion statement. Women at that time were expected to have these long flowing locks, and then somewhere in the 60s there was a sexual liberation of women, and so that short haircut came along with that sexual liberation. So there's a whole culture behind those pixie haircuts,
Right.
and how that still applies today with, and I think that it went from pixie to shaving your head. So as a good segue into the question, that empowerment, the bald head thing going on, which, whatever, I mean, for me, it's just like, it's just hair.
Right.
And some people can rock it a lot better than others, because I think you should, if you do have hair that grows and, you're not sticking, you're talking about just the average person, shaving your head is like, okay, I shaved my head. So what? If you got the right shape of the head, go ahead and do it. If it looks good, it looks good. I don't see a problem with it. What do you think?
Right. So the first time I shaved my head, I did it because of the fact that I was losing my hair, I have lupus, all of that. My hair was just like really thin. And I bawled my eyes out the first time I did it. Because with me, it was like for so many years, ever since I was I want to say ever since I turned like 17, I started dyeing my hair, and I've had every color, and it was always just like, oh, I'm going through a breakup, I'm gonna dye my hair. Oh, I got something new going on, I'm gonna dye my hair. I'm gonna cut it, I'm gonna do this, that, third. Anytime there was like a big moment for me, I expressed it through my hair. Um, so when my lupus started getting like really bad, and after I had the babies with the hormones and the lupus and everything, my hair just started falling out, and I was just finding like this is I'm gonna just do it. I'm gonna just cut it off. And I bawled. Like, my husband was the one who helped me take it off, and he was like reassuring me, like, you can do this, you look good regardless. It's just hair, as we said before, like it's not that big of a deal. You're beautiful regardless. But it was so much of me. Like I always attributed my hair to me, my personality. That's the way I expressed myself. So when I did it, the first shave through, I wasn't thrilled about it. But after a couple of days, it was very liberating. It was like, wait a minute, I am still me. I can still pull this off. I can't I am not my hair, literally, as the song says. Like this is just another way of expressing myself. And what am I doing with my hair? I'm just expressing myself. So I can do that in many different ways. I can do that with my hair, with my makeup, with my actions, my words, it's just hair. And as the years gone by, I've just randomly picked up a random said, you know what? I'm tired of messing with my hair now. I'm just cutting it all off now and doing it again. Because what's the worst that's going to happen? I'm not going to have hair. I'm going to be okay. I know that I am going to be okay because this is not who I am. Who I am is myself, not my appearance, not what I'm putting. I'm putting this out there because this is what I want to put out there. So at the end of the day, so long as I'm putting myself out there.
I have a question.
Yeah.
And it's going to be for three of you, pretty much. It's going to be for Sandy and for Joey, as far as from individuals that get the cut and see it. If I'm not mistaken, there's an emotional liberation from it, right? Okay. And the same question goes for Gordo, as a person who actually creates the opportunity for that emotion to be released. And it's, how do you choose if a head is good for X or Y cut? Is it just the shape? Is it you're trying to frame the face? Sometimes you want to hide the face. Ah, shit, she ugly. Hold on, boom, long bangs. You know what I'm saying?
Well, what I could tell you professionally, there are 6 shapes to a face. That's general humans. We have oval, you got round, you have square, you got triangle, and you have like a pear shape. So when you have a person that has a round face, you're not gonna give him a haircut that sticks out because he's gonna look like an avocado. You have to contour to the roundness of their face. If a person has an oval face, that technically they call it the perfect face because any haircut will look good on that face. And so on and so forth. You explain to the person that because of the face that they have is what they should do.
So like they may want one thing, but you want to accentuate the eyes, or you want to.
Not so much that. It's more of if you have let's say there's people that have big heads and small jawline, right? If that person was to come to me and say that they want to get an afro, I would tell them you're gonna look like an ice cream cone. You wouldn't want that. Now, if the person insists or they say is that I'm gonna do something else, then you try to make it look as good as you can. Good enough that that person feels good about themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's number one. When you take that cape off that person, and that person looks at themselves and they do this, and you see that smile, that shine in their eye, that they like, I'm gonna take over the world, you know you did a good job.
You're muted.
Am I?
No,
No,
Joey is.
so
2020, bye, you're muted.
No say, oh no. Oh yeah. No. Oh yeah.
Well,
Oh.
I was asking if that's what Sandy and Joey are looking for, to
oh
that release, that feeling of yeah, okay.
um I think it's just for me anyway, I can't speak for everyone. For me it was I think stepping out of that women and their hair, like women need to have the long hair, women need to that that
The
stereotype of what
stereotype.
a woman is.
The stereotype.
Yeah. That stereotype of what a woman is, and to push myself to be okay with who I am regardless of what the stereotype is.
I
That
had a
was my
client.
thing.
I had a client that had your issue. I cut female hair and I cut male hair. And this female literally will come every 2 weeks with another haircut or with another color. And I had to sit down and talk to her, and I was like, "Ma, you are killing your hair." And and everything that she told me was, "I don't care." So I noticed that when a female is hurt, she takes it out on her hair.
Mm.
Yep.
Yes.
That
When I was in
that
high
is
school, Bianca can attest to it. It wasn't my hair, it was my piercings.
Yeah, that's true.
I would pierce myself. And
That's
Bianca was the one that I'd go to. She is the owner, proud owner of all of my extra piercings on all on both ears.
oh
She's
yeah.
like, I got the gun, let's go. What you got? What you need? I got the fix. And that was it. But and that's true. Because hair is such it's such a way to for people to identify you, for people to see you as, we do express ourselves in our culture, at least here, we express ourselves a lot through our hair. As a young person, you really don't have much of a
I'm
voice.
with you, baby.
That's why you see kids go through all these stages. One moment they're goth, they're rockers, they're this, they're that, and they change all their hairstyles and their clothing, and it is a form of expression. But for me personally, growing up, um, all the girls, Josette is my sister, so all of us, we all have these unruly curly hair, and it's beautiful hair. Yes, we get it, but you know what? All of us literally, and I know Josette's heard it 1,000 times. Never cut your hair. Oh my God, look at those curls. They're beautiful. And you kind of believe it for a while that you shouldn't cut your hair because, man, people pay good money to get the curls that we have, and I guess we're lucky, right? But it's tiring to carry those locks, of hair, and having to, what's the use of me having long hair if I'm always going to be putting it up in a messy bun on top of my head? And, you know, I'm the one that has the migraines at the end of the day because it weighs so much, because it's a lot of fucking hair, and with Gordo is the one that cut my hair now recently because I'm like, I'm done with the migraines. I'm tired of having all this hair pulling down. And me personally, I think hair carries energy anyway, which is why you see some people trim down their locks after a while. It absorbs. See, Bianca, we love your hair. It was perfect. And it's like, yay, but I'm tired of carrying this bitch. I've been having the same hairstyle for the past 20 years. It's time for a change because you do grow. Me personally, hair is an expression. I can express myself with my hair. I haven't dyed my hair in decades because it's a lot of work. and time consuming, and I just don't like the way my head smells, and I really like this little um,
I dyed mine last week.
trick that's going on. But that's me, you know what I mean? That's me. I'm like, I don't dye my hair
It's
because
amazing
fuck it.
how a different cut, like in this picture right here, it's the same person around the same time, 3 different styles, 3 different personalities coming through.
Yes, it will change. It reflects how you really want to feel. If you're digging your hairstyle, it reflects the state of mind that you're in and how you want to feel. That's pretty much how I feel. So when I have my hair short, I love my hair short because it's quick, it's easy. I love it when my hair is long and looks beautiful. I get to play with it in certain ways, true, but on the other side of the spectrum, it's a lot more work. It's a lot more managing. With my hair shorter, I can treat it and be quick with it. I can just scooch it up and keep on walking, and it looks fine, and I'm happy with that. So I guess it's just the state of mind that you're in at the moment, and it should be a reflection of where you're at that moment. If like Gordo's customer, she didn't care because she was in a destructive state of mind. So what is she gonna do? Put it out on her hair, because people need to see automatically that I don't give a fuck.
And I think that goes a lot for most women when we do the different colors, the very, very in your face. It's, I have control of this. I have control of my life. I don't care what color I do my hair, because at the end of the day, when you see that bright red hair, you're going to look at them and be like, oh, okay, we know that she's the type of person that you don't want to approach, because you can tell right off the back that she's going to be feisty. She's going to be, and you, with each color you have, you kind of have that stereotype with it, that red hair is going to be feisty, the pink hair, she's going to be a bit more bubbly, blue hair, she's a bit more
You got it, Remy?
electric-y.
Okay.
Each color you choose is
Did you get home okay?
it's when I was doing all my colors, I know
I'll
that
hang up
I
when you
had a
pull
lot
out.
going on at that time. I still randomly choose different colors to do, but at the same time, the way she said she didn't care. After the first time I cut my hair off, and I was like, oh, I could feel good with no hair too. Oh, now I'm really gonna go off and do whatever the hell I want, because what's gonna happen at the end of the day? I'm not gonna have any hair. That's okay. I can do that too. It made no difference to me after that one.
1970s, everything got fluffier.
Brush and blow.
That's Farrah Fawcett, and at the same time, it looks like the Cowardly Lion from The Wizard of Oz. So,
That was before my time.
I just yes, Bianca, big hair. We had spoken earlier, Gordo and I, about this stylist who said the head occupies space, and as stylist, what you're doing is you're filling up volume within that space. Holy shit, bro. Was there like a reason why in the 80s it was like yowza?
Because aerosol and hair blowers.
So they created a need for their merchandise.
Yeah, that's when that hairstyle identifies with disco.
Oh, look, John, wait, where's it at?
That hairstyle.
Tina Turner, yes, Tina Turner style. That was just across the whole stage.
Tina Turner did not have an option.
See,
Farrah Fawcett did. Her hair is not like that naturally. They manipulated her hair to look like that. And every single person that sang disco and went to Studio 54, that was it.
you had the Jesus look.
That is the time that killed the barber.
Really?
As you could tell, everything there is natural.
Okay.
Natural beard, natural hair. A barber, it was his worst enemy.
All right, what's up with that?
Those are the things that should never come back.
Those are
I have tried a lot of things with my hair. I can honestly say that will never be one of them. Like, I don't foresee that ever being one of them.
That's a specific type of curling iron.
A specific type of what?
A curling iron. As you could
That's a
see, her
crimp.
hair is a crimp. There you go.
Once again, for fashion, fucking up your hair. Boom, there we have colors.
That shit actually fat. That would be something I would do.
I've done those colors.
I would do that same style with those same colors. I would do something like that.
What do you think of the sideburns? Because they look like sideburns.
Yeah, I guess it's all to give a different touch to the haircut.
Okay. Like to add on to the color.
Add on to the artwork. Look at it as art, not a haircut.
All right. Yes,
See
definitely.
See how the purple in the future, and it's like basically if they did she did that division with that and the other part standing up. There's a creative eye thing, as you could tell.
Nice.
That's fat. And actually, that's not even that hard to do.
Really?
Yeah.
That like is there alambre in that, or that's just the hair and that's it?
There could be alambre and it could be hair. If you take a braid and you braid it up tight enough,
Right.
you can manipulate it like rope.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh shit. Okay.
Oh wow. That's a work of art. You see, that right there, that's some master barber shit.
I'm gonna zoom in. Hold on. Everybody has to see Sandy's face on this.
Wow. That's wow.
I have
Wow.
AC here.
That's what your grandma wanted to do to my hair for the wedding.
That is amazing. It looks almost sculpted.
You can say it. AC
Yeah,
is
wait a
here
minute.
saying yes. She loves it.
And it's basically just straightening out her hair to an extent that you could just fold it into that and el mismo medio le mete un pin.
Really? In the middle?
Yeah, that's what's
Okay.
holding it all together.
Yeah.
A pin in the middle.
I imagine a whole buttload of pins in there, right?
And don't say you take with the rat tail of a comb and you just start separating to get the rosebud effect.
That is nice.
Oh yeah, that is many hours. That's something. There is sculpting hairspray.
Really?
Not the bullshit Aquanet that everybody knows. There is sculpting hairspray that you throw that shit on there and that stays just like that.
Just don't use Gorilla Glue.
Bianca wrote something here. Needs to be dirty. I don't know what she's talking about.
So that's about the grease in your hair and how it reacts to the heat. My hair always looked best, especially if I blew it out or flat ironed it, when it was dirty and greasy. That's when it looked its best.
Really?
Yeah, in a natural state.
Okay. Okay. Let's see what else we have here.
I love that. I would totally do that.
Yeah, I got this. This to me is a classic style. It's a style that just is never gonna go away. Apart from the colors, the actual cut of it.
If you notice, look at the edging of the cut.
What do you mean the edging?
Okay,
Look at her sideburns.
the
Okay.
sideburns around the ear and in the back of the ear.
It's like
If
an
you
undercut.
if you compare it, and I'm using
Nice.
the male cuts that you showed before, you never saw nothing like that because it was a natural cut.
Mm-hmm.
That's the difference between a natural cut and a modified cut or a studio cut.
Awesome colors though.
Let me see what else we have here.
Sick.
And
I have
that blue is real hard to pick up.
Oh, I
Why?
bet.
Before we move to the next picture, why?
I have tinted hair blue before, and it doesn't pick up at the first or second try. You gotta tint the shit out of it, and you gotta
And it
put
washes out so
very
quick.
quickly. Yeah,
Really?
yeah. There are some colors that you shouldn't use.
And that's one of them.
What a shame.
Okay, that's manipulation of scissoring. What they did was they
Hey,
cut
get
it.
out.
They cut it with a machine with the trimmer, and they left her sideburn out.
Ah, gotcha.
Entonces la parte de arriba parece que, yeah, they just did un fleco and a comb over.
So
Gotcha.
that's something that's only going to look that way or even nice if you comb it that specific way. O sea, in the morning, she's going to look like a wreck.
No, they don't. She can't stay with that haircut. Oh, she can, but she's gonna be a slave to that.
To
She
that
cannot
specific
manipulate
look.
her hair in any other way.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that, you know, you see these crazy hairstyles. It looks fantastic. It is art, but for the average person who has to get up every morning and go through their routine, they're not
That
trying to do something like that. You know,
that
they need
is
something.
all part of the consult. If I have a client, she comes to me and she says, "I want you to do this."
The
I have to
consultation, yes.
explain to her that this will look good only if you comb your hair this way. If you try to
Right.
comb your hair any other way, it's not going to look the same.
But
I'm letting you
as far as
know.
technique is concerned, this is definitely art, right? This is some skills. It's not a fuck up that they did on the head.
Oh no! Look at the dimensions of the line. That line is crisp. That shit wasn't fucked up. That was all intentional. Look at her sideburn, how it comes down. Look how the comb over fits perfectly right over her eyebrows. That
Oh
haircut
shit,
is
yeah.
completely intentional. And he was such, or she was such a professional that she put in 4 colors and one of them looks like her skin color.
Yep.
She
Wow.
has blonde, she has honey brown, she has gray, and she has brown, dark brown.
And green. I think I see green in there.
And that's the mixture of the honey with the gray.
Gotcha.
Wow. All right.
It's crazy.
Bro,
That's something that my eye now, as a stylist, I can see all those things.
Cool.
Yeah, I can see what you're saying perfectly over the eye. I'm gonna focus in on this eye.
Everything is picture perfect. Look at the hairs. There's no hair out of place. Every single hair is in place. That is the difference between a professional and uno de marquesina.
Wow, and that gray makes it look more like shine than anything. Did you pick that up immediately?
Yeah. I saw all the colors she had worked with there.
Wow.
Basically the same concept. Yep.
Definitely wanted to get your
Say what?
I definitely wanted to get your comments on that.
The geometry. That's all you see in lines, levels, and what they did was they incorporated the colors so you can see it. But what can you notice that that blue, it's literally under the black.
Yep.
Wait, what blue is under the over here towards the back?
The turquoise.
Okay.
Her hair, almost her whole head is turquoise. She only has a strand of black. See?
Oh shit.
And he made it,
That's
or
cool.
she made it so perfect so you could just notice it barely. But her whole hair is turquoise.
Wow.
The
Once
makeup,
again, something you picked up immediately.
yeah. The makeup is banging though too.
Mm-hmm. It's like,
Boom. Remember we were talking about a lot of things, a lot of geometries come from the military?
Yep.
There you have Robert Wagner with a flat top.
But if you could tell, he doesn't have a 7.
no,
And
he
his-
doesn't.
Oh
and
shit.
his front line is not straight.
That's his natural hairline.
Right over his left eyebrow, it's a bit down, or it's a bit lower than the one on the right.
I see it.
Interesting.
So that's the difference.
Look at his perfect 7.
Is that boy real?
Yeah,
That fade or that blend, brother, that shit is insane. It looks almost painted.
it is.
That's what I'm saying.
It is?
There is an adjustment right now that you put it on and you paint, and it looks just like hair. Él lo que
Wow.
hicieron fue le pusieron una tarjeta, se lo echaron a toda la parte de arriba del fade para que se vea oscuro. Entonces, where the fade starts, that is blending in, he doesn't touch it.
So wait a minute, hold on. So for Badillo Juan, who said stay out this topic, you can join the topic because now they can paint some hair on that bald head. You can
The thing
stencil
about
in
it
some
is-
hair if you want to.
He just can't sweat.
Because then it'll
That's
drip.
a problem in Puerto Rico.
He can't sweat it because that
Sorry,
washes off.
Poti. I was trying to give you some hope
So-
there, but it wasn't working.
I'm gonna be right back, but I want to leave you with this real quick. So is painting going to take away the actual skill of fading the hair?
No. It doesn't take away the actual skill of fading because you have to know how to fade for it to look good.
Gotcha.
Now, can you cover up a natural blemish? Yes. Like, for instance, si el chamaquito ese tuviera una cicatriz ahí, se la puedes tapar.
Okay.
If he has a little bald spot, you could cover it up. I use that paint para los hombres que están thinning the hair back here en la coronilla. I just spray a little bit of it so it could darken out.
So Nata would be really happy.
Nata can't use that.
No?
No, Nata stage, no.
So there's a stage where esto
Yeah.
no
Too far
pega.
gone.
Yeah. Esto es
Okay.
para if you have patches, if you barely starting to thin your hair out, like if you have las entradas, your entradas are thinning, you could paint that so you can get the best straight cerquillo possible.
Well, you know what? Let me ask you this, because this is kind of interesting.
Dime que voy para carajo.
Dale. As somebody who does your art, your skill, to make the person feel better and bring out their emotions and all that. But you also have to draw a line whether it's better or not for the person to use X or Y style. Okay. I can understand using that paint if a person has a bad scar that they're trying to forget about the that whole incident, whatever. You use the paint on them, fantastic. It's kind of like women when they tattoo their chest after operation.
Okay.
But also as a stylist, would you, given the time to think about it, would you prefer to paint over the scar or try to come up with a concept that can go with the scar?
Well, me personally, I would see the scar and I would tell them what haircut would favor to cover the scar up.
Not necessarily use the scar.
It all depends on the person because there are scars that are traumatizing.
Right. Yes.
There are scars that people could find cool, but you don't really want to be seeing every fucking day.
Right. Because it's a reminder of something.
So it would be more of let's find a hairstyle that you feel comfortable wearing, and if you want to show your scar off, you can, and if you don't want to, you don't have to.
No doubt. And people have been styling and doing their hair for fucking thousands of years.
Yeah.
Is it difficult to stay within the times in order to make people happy, or is it normal to be jumping back and forth? Oh, you know what? We're in 2021, but a 1857 style would do fucking fantastic for you. How often does that happen?
Well, going back to the 6 general shapes, if you notice or if you look at the styles that come out, there is a style that adapts to every single facial shape. So there's people that found a haircut in the 2000s and they've kept rocking with it till 2021.
Yeah.
There's people that saw haircuts in the 90s and they've rocked it to today.
Mullet.
So it's most what you like, what you're willing to take. It's my job as in any type of person that gets service to always be on the front line of everything. I should be the first one to offer you a new haircut that looks something like the one you have.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And to get to the paints, where I've used 90% of the paint has been in the beard.
Really?
There's a lot of men that have patchy beards. I'm one of them. So if I want to rock a beard that has been the trend for the past 10 years,
Mm-hmm.
and I have a patchy beard and I'm trying to get my beard to fill in, I paint it.
You do
And
a
I
flat
can
Joe?
make sure that I prepare your beard for it to continue growing out. The illusion when you leave the barbershop to see that full beard, it's what's going to motivate you to let your facial hair grow.
That was like me penciling in my eyebrow.
Check
Mm-hmm. So look good to feel good.
Or, I mean,
It's always.
Trauma, my Titi Kathy, if she sees this video, she can attest to it. The first time I saw Titi Kathy without her eyebrows painted on, I was traumatized because she didn't have any. I mean, she's always had this thick, beautiful arches of eyebrows, and I was like, cool. And then when I saw her wash her face and her eyebrows went away, that freaked me out. I wasn't used to seeing somebody penciling in their eyebrows that way. And at such a depth. Now the women can use I mean, they tattoo their eyebrows, they do the microblading, they do, all of this stuff or whatever. And I guess it's cool. Me personally, like I already expressed how I feel about eyebrows. I'm not a fan of the espantada look where they always look like they're surprised. That bothers me, because I think it's this look is not good on
against
anybody.
eyebrow tattooing.
I've seen the
I'm
damage.
totally against it.
I've
I'm
seen
Why?
the
totally
You only
damage.
have one option, one look.
It's no. It's not even all about only having one option or one look. It's more about eyebrows are perfectly imperfect.
Yes.
They should be cousins, not sisters.
Exactly. And when you see someone getting their eyebrows tattooed, they're twins.
Hmm.
So your facial expression is not the same.
Right. Because if you take one half of your face and you
It
double
doesn't
it,
look like the other
you don't
one.
look the same. Your face has a little bit of a difference. And Bianca says the tattooing doesn't last, and it's true. So I feel that because I used to do eyebrows in high school, that's how I used to make my little monies on the side.
I did
And I would
too.
have I would have my girls, I would do their eyebrows differently depending on their on the shape of their eyebrows, because it's never going to be the same. Their eyebrows are not going to look exactly like mine. Their eyebrows grow differently, so they don't look like mine. They have to look like theirs. And so I would give them a shape that would match their personality, but at the same time would accent what they did have. I would try to make it so that it looked elegant. I've always looked for elegance, never something that was different. I was just like, I'm going to take a little bit more on the top because you got too much going on the top, and we need to soften that a bit. Or we definitely got to separate, perfectly done by Sanja. But it was, like I said, literally, it was like a thing. Eyebrows are a thing for me, and I can't stand messy eyebrows.
There's a good question right there. We're running out of time, so let's make these things quick. So what are we supposed to do when our eyebrows are sparse because of age?
Oh, that's a good question. I'm starting to grow canas in my eyebrows, and I'm freaking out.
You could tweeze them or you could dye them.
I mean, there's so many options now that aren't permanent that you can try until you find that thing that fits you perfectly. I'm going through it with my mom now, where she's trying to find what works for her, and it's like, okay, we're not doing the permanent thing. We've already established that, but there are stencils, there are pencils, there are powders, there are gels, there are so many different things. It's
Don't
just
do
a matter of
extensions,
preference.
right? No extensions on the eyebrows.
Oh God!
No.
You started with the eyelashes.
I already set it out to the universe. It's gonna
No.
happen. Wait for it. Guys, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for helping us out. Rolo, Sandy, Joe said, John had to leave early. Everybody, we'll see you next week. Every Thursday, you know how it is. It's either shoot the shit with Joey Zaza or it's Apple on the desk.
I need ideas. shoot
Email
some
us,
ideas.
call
Let's
us.
talk about it.
I mean, guys,
Hold on, Sandy.
Yeah.
You want a topic?
Yes.
Why is Finland better than everybody else in the world in education?
Why is what?
Finland.
Why
Finland
is
is the number
Finland
one
better?
country. Break it down. What could we do to adjust? Not in school, because obviously we don't control schools, but what we could do at home.
Okay. I'll do some research. Thank you.
All right.
that sounds
Goodbye.
fantastic.
Bye, guys.
Everybody, Torre el Viejo, we out.
Bye. See you. Peace.
Stay on, Joey. Stay on so we can talk.